This easy raspberry jam makes a wonderful addition to the pantry, as well as a beautiful gift for someone you love. Welcome to Blooming Wildwood Homestead. Today we are making an easy raspberry jam. There really isn't much to this, and honestly the hardest part is getting all of your raspberries picked so that you have what you need and are ready to go. You can go ahead and use this recipe even if you have previously frozen raspberries and you're ready now to go ahead and take those out of the freezer and process them. The same recipe will work. You'll just need to let those thaw a bit before you get them crushed and ready to go. This is a great recipe to start with if you are brand new to canning and looking to get your feet wet. For today's project, we are going to need 7 cups of sugar. We are going to need our raspberries. It's recommended about 8 cups of raspberries. We're going to crush them, so we do need 5 cups of crushed. So once it's all crushed up, about 8 cups should do the trick. And we are using pectin for today. I'm going to use Surgel, the original, just because that's what I have on hand, and this will make it super easy. So I'm going to set the sugar to the side, and we're going to go ahead and work on crushing up the berries. What I'm going to do here is just try to make sure that the berries are as clean as possible, and we'll put those in there. It's not going to take much to crush these up, simply because they're pretty crumbly this year. They're not as firm as I normally get, I think mainly due to some of the weather challenges that we've had. So I just mostly want to make sure that they're clean. This is one of the reasons why I'm not freezing these guys, because they're not going to hold up in the freezer, but they'll be great for cooked items such as jam or syrups. Things like that will be just fine. I try to make sure that I pick pretty clean when I'm picking, but you know, things get stuck in there sometimes, or you end up with a bad berry that you didn't catch right away, and so we just want to make sure that we're not putting any of that into our jam. We're going to go ahead and crush these. You could put them in a food processor. With raspberries, I find that it really doesn't take much. And like I said, these were already kind of falling apart and pretty crumbly to start with. So I'm just going to chop them up a little bit to get them started. And then I'm not too worried about it. Once they cook, they're going to cook down really, really well. Once again, I need 5 cups of the crushed berries, which I'm going to put into my pot. Here we have our 5 cups of crushed berries. To that, I'm going to go ahead and add the pectin packet and about a teaspoon of butter. That's going to help cut down on any of the foaming that we will encounter during the cooking process. All right, we're gonna go ahead and bring this to a full boil over probably, it says high heat, but I like to make sure it's not scorching, so I'll probably do a medium-high heat, and then we will add our sugar after that. We know that it's a rolling boil when you keep stirring and you can't stir down all of the bubbles. So now that we're at a rolling boil, we're going to add the sugar. And then we want to return this mixture to a boil. Really want to make sure to get in the corners and get all of that sugar mixed in so that it dissolves properly. You can see now we're back to a boil. I'm going to mark it for 1 minute. We're going to remove this from heat and get this into the jars. And here we've got our completed jam. It has just a little foam on top. I think I'll go ahead and scoop that off. There's not much because we did use the butter. The rest of that I'm just gonna go ahead and mix in. We have our washed and sterilized jars. I'm going to use the funnel because that really helps to make sure that you don't have as much of a mess on the top. And then, of course, my favorite canning scoop. And it is my favorite because you can pour from the side, and 1 scoop is pretty much all you need to fill up your jar. So we're filling that to leave about 1/2 inch of headspace. The other thing I like is that the scoop will just hang on the side of the pot, so you don't have to worry about it slipping down in there. All right, we've got 12 beautiful jars of jam. I'm gonna go ahead and start the lids. I like to heat them up, and I put them in water and then boil them, and then that way they'll be ready. And while the lids are getting ready, I'm gonna clean the rims, and I am preheating the canner just so that the water is warm when my jars go in. All right, and to clean these, I'm just gonna take a damp paper towel and run it along the rim. You really wanna make sure that you do this step. Even though we're using the funnel and that keeps a lot of the food off the rims, you do want to make sure that you are cleaning them. You can see here I already got a little bit of jam off of the rim, just because anything that is on that rim is a potential barrier to sealing, and we want to make sure that we are using as safe of canning practices as possible while also getting a good seal every time. And then I come back through and use a dry paper towel. Probably not necessary, but my grandma always did that. My mom always did that. I think it just gives another extra layer of protection to make sure that all the food particles are removed from the rims. You will want to boil these for 10 minutes, let them rest for 5, and then you can take them out of the canner and set them someplace to cool. Check the lids in the morning to make sure that they are completely sealed. I hope you enjoyed today's recipe. It is a beautiful addition to your pantry, as well as a great gift for family or friends. Most other berry recipes are going to be very, very similar. So if you were able to find success with today's raspberry jam, I think that you would also enjoy making blackberry jam or a marionberry jam, something like that, as they are very, very similar in the process. You can help support the channel by clicking like and leaving a comment down below. What are some of your favorite things to put raspberry jam on? Or let me know if you made raspberry jam this year and how that went for you. I would love to have you be part of our community here at Blooming Wildwood Homestead, where we talk about gardening, food preservation, and ways to use all of the things that we are growing and preserving. Until next time, bye everyone.